So the organ device is around since Bitwig Studio 1.0, and it's a very simple device, easy to use, and it doesn't aim to be a realistic organ emulator or simulator or anything like this. It's just a basic Sine stacked additive synthesizers. We have here a lot of little sliders where we can change the gain of each of these sine partials. It's a very simple layout. Like I said, here we have a pitch knob to dial in some kind of pitch offset to the current notes. When we play D#3, right, we can here push this up to 36 semitones higher, so it goes up to 3 octaves higher, or maybe lower. There's a glide knob, so when we play multiple notes or different notes one after the other, we can glide from one note to the other note. We have attack and release here for the amplitude envelope. There's no sustain. There's always sustain, so when you hold the note, it stays, right? So there's no sustain part here of the envelope, but we have attack and release. We have here also a gain knob for each voice. Because it's a polyphonic device, we can play multiple notes at the same time, and then we can tweak the loudness of each voice here with this knob. We have a panning knob, left, right, pretty simple. We have a note FX box. We can tweak the notes coming in from the piano roll and the keyboard in real time, of course, and we have an out FX box, so we can add some audio effects after generating sounds inside of the organ device. Okay, so the most complicated thing about this device is probably here the slider section, to get your head around this. We also have at the top here some kind of drop down where we can change the model. It's called model, but it's more or less like an oscillator selector. So pure is basically just a sine oscillator, rich is a triangle oscillator, and then we have full, which is a rectified sine, which means they just take all the negative parts of the sine partial and turn it into the positive range. It gives you some kind of saw feel. This is full. So slightly different overtones. So it's a oscillator wave shape selector. Then we have a retrigger here, so we can retrigger the phase of the oscillator if you want to do this. Maybe you want to create some organ bass sounds with this, right? Some typical house basses, and you want to re-trigger the oscillator every time you play a bass to keep it consistent. You can do this here with the re-trigger knob. And yeah, then we have these sliders here. We can dial in multiple of these to give you a sense of what it does. And I don't know why they haven't made here some kind of labels to each of the sliders, so you get a sense of what it is. You actually have to open up here. If you click on the organ device on the left side there, it says show help, or you use F1 on the keyboard and you can open up here the help menu. And on the left side here, you can see what each of the slider does. Here we have the first one is actually down an octave from the current note. So when we play C3, right, this is down an octave, so it's C2. The fundamental, the root, that note that you actually play, for instance, if I play here C3, it's this one. So this is the fundamental. This is exactly the frequency of the note you are currently playing. C3. This is down an octave. So it's basically a bass note or a sub. And then in between we have here the fifth. Right, so it's basically 7 semitones higher. Yeah, it's a fifth. It's a dominant of the fundamental. I don't know why they put this here below the fundamental, because it's actually frequency-wise, it's on top of this. I can show you this here in the frequency. Right, this is the fundamental, and then we dial in here the fifth. This is G3, and this is C3. That's what we play, and then we have here the sub, which is C2, right? So 1 octave lower, then a fifth higher, and the fundamental. And then all the other sliders are kind of the same thing, just in different octaves. So when we open this up here again, so we have after the fundamental, we have then here an octave higher. Then we have here an octave and a fifth. So basically the same thing as this, just one octave higher. Then we have 2 octaves, 2 octaves and a major third. That's also interesting. So if you want to play a major chord, you have here also a major third in there. Again, 2 octaves and a fifth higher and 3 octaves higher. So only roots and fifth and a major third is in there. If you never actually touch this here, there's never a major third in there. So yeah, that's basically it. So you just stack sine partials. If this is your pure, you just stack sine partials. It's basically the synthesizer I showed you in my last video on the main channel, where I just stack sine partials to create pad sounds. Here you can do it just for free if you are happy with just having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sliders or sine partials, 9 sine partials. Yeah, then you're fine with this. I personally never use this for any organ sounds ever. I only use it for pad sounds, and I made here some presets a few years ago. For instance, here Sublime. That's one of the official packs, I guess. And I'm only using here some modulators to actually modulate. As you can see here, modulate some of the volume sliders, go in and out. This is how it sounds. I'm just holding down one note, nothing more. Or maybe this preset here, sine offsets. Same concept. Just a lot of reverb here on the audio FX part. And then you play some notes and a lot of modulations. Just modulate here the volume sliders of the organ device. That's how I use it. Okay, let's go back here to the organ device. Also interesting here, if you click on the organ device on the left side, we have voices. We can say, oh, this is a polyphonic device. We want to play multiple notes at the same time. Or we dial this down to monophonic, so you can only play one note at a time. So when you play one note, then you play another note, the first note is more or less choked or disabled, or however you want to call it. So you can only play one note at a time. Very helpful when you play bass sounds or when you play bass lines, right? And you play multiple notes. So you can hold one note, the bass note, and then you hold it down and then you play on top some melodies with the octave higher, right? And then you have these super funky bass lines sometimes, if you can play it, of course. So yeah, you can use this here as a monophonic device or a polyphonic device if you want to play some chords. You can do this. Super nice for pad sounds. We can also use just the fundamental, and on the left side you can see your voice stacking is also possible with this device. We can say we want to have 4 voice stacks and they maybe should play something different, so we can say here stack spread modulator. Then you can just offset on each voice stack the pitch slightly. Right, maybe use more. This one here. Maybe we want to restart here. Yeah, it's almost like... And maybe we want to dial down here the upper notes, right? It's too loud here. So we do this. So the higher we go in the voice stack, the lower we bring down in the voice volume. The maximum is, of course, here 36 semitones. So this is some kind of limitation. We can also say the higher we go in the voice stack, the shorter the release time is. Or the attack time. Interesting. Yeah, you can make some interesting sounds with this, probably. This sounds nice. Each of these oscillators here are fighting. And put a reverb on that. Let me see. So yeah, like I said, it's perfect for pad sounds and some sound experimentations. But I personally just see this here as a additive or simple additive synthesizer instead of an organ device. But you can also make, of course, organ sounds with it, but it doesn't aim to be a realistic simulator, like I said in the beginning. Anyway, I think that's it for the organ device. There's not much here to do except attaching a lot of modulators and using voice stacking and experiment with all the other devices you have at your disposal in Bitwig Studio. Just combine everything. So like I said, it's a very old device, but you can combine it and then you get something more out of it. That's it. Thanks for watching.